We estimate that there's 2 billion people who live on the face of this planet that cannot go to the court and defend a land right because their land right doesn't legally exist, even though they, their parents, their great-grandparents for hundreds of years could have been living on the same land. A farmer may not today be competing with a neighboring farmer, but they may be competing with a multinational oil company.
These people in many countries, they face intimidation, threats, arbitrary arrest, unlawful detention, or even, disappearance or being killed. It's one thing to have good laws, but if it's not enforced, it's just a piece of paper.
We convened here in Interlaken because we are part of quite a big movement of people who believe that we're not really going to be able to crack rural poverty, to pursue food sovereignty, even climate change or human rights or ending of conflicts until we sort out the issue of who owns lands.
This issue is really of interest to all in society, definitely government, to companies that want to make investments, for communities for our very security, for women who are interested to be fully involved and equal.
We've got many of the key actors in the room, but also some of the activists and some of the voices of people who are actually struggling with these issues on the ground.
Our point is to see if we can assess how far we are with the legal recognition of community rights, and to see if we can come out with strategies and tools that can help the state to start getting involved into land reform when it's needed.
What we're really hoping is that this isn't just a one-time conference, that this is a process, and it really is kind of where the new spaces and ways and strategies for making this an issue in a lot of different agendas.
The approach that we've taken in order to tackle community land rights is to go through 5 different issue areas.
The first thing that has to be done is the mapping. And there's a huge global move now for communities themselves to do their own mapping. They are the people who know their land. That's the first step. Once that is clear, then you can go through legal process so that it can be enshrined in law. This is not just tradition, it is now part of national law.
The third one, which we always knew was important, was how we can influence the international community through various international instruments and processes to bring change.
Once that is done, then people can start to talk on an equal basis with corporations, with private finance people who may want to come in and invest in that land, because the community then has its rights established and it has the right to say no, to provide its free, prior and informed consent if it wishes to.
And that really makes us optimistic that something can be put into place where companies are asking these questions as they're going into these areas and getting the information that they need to make the investments more responsibly.
The conservation community has actually done an enormous amount in this area, and eventually we decided that merited its own track.
At the end of the conference, all the 5 streams have to come together to look at how they reinforce each other. They are components of the same problem.
What's exciting is that there's already things that are taking place, already decisions to kick off some new collaboration, kick off some new initiatives between these groups that weren't really talking to each other before.
And we see this conference as a window in that process that will consolidate some of our strategic direction, that will bring others in, create opportunities, particularly for working with influential players but new to us and that we don't usually work with them, and will shape what we do from here on.
We, the co-organizers, agreed that it'd be helpful to move this agenda forward if we had a target. And so we met before the conference and agreed to a target of doubling within the next 5 years the amount of land in developing countries that is owned or recognized by communities. We actually think it's possible. It's a big number, but we actually think it's possible. There's real opportunities in front of us, but we're not going to get there unless we get organized.
If we are very successful in providing land rights at the local level, we will be building the grounds for finding solutions to the global crisis.
By having a commitment to improve land tenure, land rights, I think we can make a difference, but we really need to take it seriously, to be consistent in our engagement, and to work better together.